welcome to the brand new edition of To The Point. And on today's show, we have a very special guest joining us from Bengaluru, Chief of Indian Space Research Organization, Dr. K. Sivan. Dr. Sivan, welcome to Rajya Sabha Television and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for giving my opportunity for me to interact with you. It is a pleasure for me to talk to you.
Thank you so much, sir. The Union Cabinet cleared the path for private entities to participate in the entire range of space activities. Of course, a committee that was headed by eminent aerospace scientist Dr. A.S. Pillai in 2018 strongly recommended opening up the space sector to private players. What will the formation of a new institution for this purpose, Indian National Space Promotion Authorization Center, mean for India?
Say, if you are looking at the present scenario, the entire space activity, which includes the rocket building, satellite making, launching them, and owning the satellite and providing the space-based services, everything is being done by ISRO. And the new mechanism in space, before that, I want to tell that in that the end-to-end space activities being carried out by ISRO, the industries are getting participated only as a supplier of components and modules and parts, nothing more than that. When we talked about the in space, that is a new mechanism, whatever they proposed to be as part of Department of Space, what I meant is we want the private players to not only supplying the parts and components, we want the private players to build rocket, we want private players to build the satellite, and we want them to own the satellite, and we wanted them to provide the space-based services on commercial basis. So this mechanism will be enabling them to carry out all these activities which otherwise ISRO is right now doing. And also that one more the feature of this particular mechanism is when the private players are doing the space business or space activity, definitely it's required very costly and complex the facilities, infrastructure. And to make the private players to do the business at ease, the proposal is this in space will permit them to share the facilities of ISRO also. That way, it will be a double benefit for the private. It's a bonus. This is to the private players. Also, not only that one facility, and we will be ready to share our technology and other mechanisms available in the ISRO also. That way, it is really enabling that private parties to carry out the space activities very efficient way.
So you made a very important point about technology. I'd just like to understand how will ISRO share its technological expertise with the private parties?
Now that is that we are going to have separate entities under in space. That is the technical directorate and safety and security directorate and legal directorate and also the monitoring, promotional, like the many directorates are going to be there. And when that request is coming from that private players on the technology aspect and all, definitely that they will make an assessment what is the merit in their request. And because at the same time, you know, this particular technology, that the space technology of dual purpose. So that the safety is involved, security is involved, all these assessments they will make, and from that the decision will be made.
Right, sir. The need for ensuring optimum utilization of our space assets has been underscored for long now. How do we orient space activities from a supply driven model to a demand driven model, often as mentioned by you?
Now, actually, it is that if we are seeing that the space assets are not underutilized, that the space assets are that are fully utilized. Only thing is, what right now that when we are talking about the supply-driven model, what we are telling is based on that the discussion with the ministries and users. That is that ISRO is making the proposal to Space Commission for a particular satellite. And then from the Space Commission approval, we are going to cabinet for getting money for that satellite. And then we are building and we are launching. And then we are requesting that user, you please use the satellite. Already whatever you want is already there. This is the thing happening. So instead, what the proposal is, instead of going like this, go the same ulta mode. That is, let user demand. Once when the user is demanding, let them give money for the satellite. When they are giving money for the satellite, then they will have the responsibility to utilize this one, the reverse way. So that all along that is that our requirement or they need not come from that is that government or that we need not put a burden on the government. It has to come from the user for making use of that, the demanding a satellite and making use of that one. Basically the same thing, it is being done the different way.
Sir, in India also we have a very robust ecosystem of startups. Now, what implications will the rise of space startups as a contributor to the research and development in space technologies mean for us?
And that development of that startups is really it is encouraging. Already that is the many startups are approaching us this one to carry out the space activities, and some people are even very happy about the reform. And even before that, the reforms announced that the startups were approaching us for using our facilities and other things, and we are really interacting with them and discussing with them what is their requirement, and we assess and we provide necessary support for them to do the work. This one.
Dr.
So, and
let's break it to the basics. Yes, sir.
the startup is going to, with this announcement, the startup is going to be benefited in a major way, and they're going to jump into the business and going to do a lot of work on this aspect.
Absolutely, sir. Point well taken. But Dr. Sivan, let's break it to the basics. How do private players approach ISRO for any space-related activity?
Now, this once that the in space is in place, this one, simply they have to apply their requirement and apply their request through online, and that request will be taken, will be downloaded to the different directorates we are going to create under in space, like a technical directorates, legal directorates, and other all the technical aspect, legal aspect, safety, security aspect, and all these things will be analyzed by this in-space directorate, and this that informations will be given to the board, chaired by the chairman in space, with different members of the directors, as well as the members from industry and academia and the government of India, and then they'll decide whether they can they given permission or whether they can given utilization of that permission for utilizing the ISRO facility. All those decisions will be made. Once that decision is made in that the board, that decision will be binding on all the people for carrying out the task. That is our aim. And till the decision making, and the present ISRO system is not going to interfere with them. They are going to be totally autonomous and independent to make the decision, and the decision will be binding on all the stakeholders.
Right, sir. Dr. Sivan, even now we are extremely competitive, cost effective, but it is also said that an open and inclusive space sector will lead to an increased growth, job creation, and innovations. But how do we become more competitive in the global space economy?
So, if you are seeing this global space economy, that on the space sector, it is something like $360 billion. And out of this one, we are seeing that in this business, there is that around 2% is that launch vehicle contribution, around 5% is that satellite contribution. About 48% is meant for the ground system, and 45% for the space applications. Out of this $360 billion economy, we see that India's contribution is only mere 3%. Such a meager amount. So, by bringing the private players to carry out the space activities of launching, making a rocket, making spacecraft, launching, and providing space service, definitely this the global space economy that number that our contribution, our thing will be definitely will enhance. That will be giving a great the benefit for the private players as well as for the country in terms of that getting services in a very low price, very effective way, and also we'll get the service in time, at the right time with the right price. That way it will be beneficial in many directions. Also, you can see that that the satellite applications, the space applications requirement is increased multifold, and with that, when you are trying to implement our government's the Digital India program, this requirement is going to explode, and definitely this our the ISRO alone will not be able to meet all the requirements with the present existing system and manpower. So instead of restraining to within that ISRO with limited manpower, why not make use of the entire manpower available across the country? That's the best approach, so that we can get benefited in an efficient way. So with these two approaches, we feel that this private sector participation is going to really play a major role in economy as well as applications.
So the government has, of course, clarified that ISRO will continue to function as the core space organization in India. But do you anticipate any kind of change or shift in your role?
No, it is not so. ISRO is not change anything. You can understand that under Department of Space, different verticals are there. There is one is ISRO, and under ISRO there is the different centers are functioning. Then another vertical we are talking about that autonomous bodies like the Physical Research Laboratory, IAST, like that autonomous body. Third type of vertical is the NSIL, that is the PSU. Now we are bringing a fourth vertical, which is under Department of Space, and this vertical will be working as a enabling body, regulating body for the private players to carry out that space activities without disturbing that other ISRO's system. At the same time, it will have an interface with the ISRO system to provide necessary support for private players to carry out the job.
Right, sir. And these new structural reforms, what kind of impact will they have on our capacity building?
And this new the reform, whatever now being implemented, will have a very good opportunities and efforts will be providing for the building, the capacity building by ISRO. And most of that the commercial aspects and operational aspects, definitely that I'm sure that our industries and private people will be able to handle, and at the same time that is so once that load is going to that commercial and the private players, definitely ISRO can work mostly on the capacity building and future requirements, advanced technology development such as things. At the same time, we are not leaving to the private players only to do the commercial aspect. If they wanted to do the technical development or advanced technology development, and we want them to also to do it, and for that we are planning to have that a system of announcement of opportunities. With that, they will be able to do that job also. This one.
So it is touted to be one of the major reforms in the space sector. But what are the other space policy reforms that you're eyeing, ISRO is eyeing in times
So
ahead?
this for when we are having this that our reform is to enable the private players to carry out the space activity. Definitely, some policies, whatever already existing in place, which need some modification. That is a SATCOM policy or navigation, that remote sensing policy that need some update. But we are working on that. Also, that is at present that we don't have one on for that remote navigation policy. That also we have to include. Also, that that the Space Act bill that is also almost in the final the phase. All these things will be put through the government systems for approval, so that will be enabling the that in space to carry out its task in a very efficient way.
So, taking a cue from what you said, space activities bill, of course, we understand that ISRO has underscored the need for such a bill. But what kind of ecosystem do you expect to be developed once this bill is there in the public domain, once this bill is passed by Parliament of India?
Now, this once the bill is the passed, also that the policies are in place. Definitely, that will these things will be tuned for creating a very good ecosystem for the private players to play a level playing ground for the private players. This one. And with that one, and along with that assessment by that in space, definitely it will give a new dimension to that space systems in the country.
Dr. Sivan, I'll just shift the focus a bit. We know that ISRO had planned around 10 launches that were delayed due to the coronavirus pandemic. How do you plan to make an assessment to see what kind of impact the lockdown or the coronavirus pandemic had on the missions?
Say that is that the corona pandemic definitely has a impact on our the missions also, because and that 60 to that 70 that 80 almost 80% of our activities, the strength is lying in that 500 industries, that medium, small, big industries spread across the country. And because of this lockdown, these industries are not able to function to full potential. So definitely they are not able to provide the hardware to us. At the same time, the things to happen in an efficient way, our people need to travel across the country very frequently. And so even that people from Trivandrum they're not able to travel to Sririkota because of the COVID issues. Because of these multiple issues, that is that all our the projects, whatever we plan, have an impact on this one, and that we will make an assessment on this impact maybe after the situation become normal. This one.
And how do you plan to rework on the mission, sir?
Yes, yes, that is definitely under the conditions. This one, and because all the missions will get impact, that will have a shift because of this impact. What we are planning to do is that is what is that important mission we need to push first. Yes, so that will reprioritize that mission such that the national demands will be met without affecting much delay. This one.
Absolutely. And Dr. Sivan, lastly, it's a new normal we are talking about post corona world or even during the corona times that we are undergoing these days. The government has talked about Atmanirbhar Bharat, self reliant India. How is ISRO paving the way for a self reliant India?
And if you are saying that most of the technologies we have developed in ISRO, it is for indigenization. And you know that we have the rocket technology. We started from the beginning. This technology is not available. Now we are able to reach up to that capacity up to that the 4 ton. Then important technology like the cryogenics technology we already acquired. And similarly, the satellite systems also we have acquired the very good technology. We are able to do everything independently, indigenously, and at the same time that we will continue to do this one for in the coming days also. Like that the semi-cryogenic propulsion system is getting developed, that the electric propulsion system is getting developed, then that the new technologies in the satellite systems are also being developed. That many technology we are doing. We want make India totally self-reliant on the technologies.
Absolutely, Dr. Sivan, point well taken, and it's always a pleasure talking to you, sir. Thank you so much for connecting with us in this era of social distancing through Skype from Bengaluru, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir.